seconds remaining.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. Starladder Season 8, Day 21. Well underway here. We've got Game 2 of 4 coming up for you now. I'm Sayori. Joining me once again is Cinderin. Thank you for joining us here on Beyond the Summit for your Starladder Season 8 English coverage. We've got Power Rangers versus OSG Gaming. Off to a slow start, but we're in the match. This draft going pretty quickly here. Cinderin, what is the good word here coming into PR versus OSG?
A must-win game for PR, I think, is the best way of looking at this. Another one of the top contenders right now. They've had a little bit of a rocky time over their last few games. I believe they have gone 1-2 since we started casting together, or maybe 2-2 or something like that. They were looking strong, but have lost a couple of crucial games, so now they're going to have to win a lot more to stay in that race for the top 4. They've played 12 games and they're currently 8-4, and it could turn out to be enough if things go their way, but I think not everything is in their hands anymore. Even should they win the rest, they need a couple of things to happen in a particular way, but at least to keep hopes alive, they have to win. For OSG, this is more of a battle to just get some experience and try to save their score, as they're currently 4-7. So no chance for them of reaching that important top 4, but could still have a know what they've got and try to get towards a decent score around average. I would suppose they could still end up in the middle of the field should they win a couple of more games. And well, they're definitely not messing around with the drafting. This is some very standard stuff coming out right now for both teams.
Yeah, OSG though unfortunately slated to be running 3 stand-ins here. Big Num and Ink Visitor, the only 2 tagged up as true OSG members. Their stand-ins here are going to be Sunlight, Android, and Slander. And Slander was the one that popped in at the very last second, as I mentioned in our little break there that we had. They had another stand-in. He didn't load, so they booted him, and they brought in Slander. So we'll see how he fares, but still unfortunate for OSG having some roster issues here. As always, 3 stand-ins, something that can be a little bit difficult to overcome. But I like this draft they've got so far. Puck going to be their 3rd pick to go with the Bristleback and Crystal Maiden. Very well-rounded 3 picks that I really can't complain about too much here. Power Rangers going to grab Visage Marana first, but I'm more scratching my noodle here, my head noodle, that is, at the Power Rangers 3rd and 4th bands, Lena and Leshrak. 2 heroes that we really don't see too much. Lena in particular.
Not quite sure what they were worried about as far as that goes. Seems a little bit of an odd ban indeed. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what the teams are planning here. I can't tell you either why those 2 would be good bans in this scenario. Maybe it's heroes that OSG favor playing because they're very early game centered supports with solid stuns. Maybe they don't want to deal with that. And since they've picked up Shadow Demon, maybe it was just a setup ban to allow themselves to get the disruption, but not let that disruption be a setup for those 2 stuns that Lena and Leshrak have, the defensive disruptions, of course, that is. But that's the best way of reading into it, I think, but there might not be too much behind it. What I'm interested in is whether or not Power Rangers will grab a lane counter to Puck. Because when you pick Puck at this point, it certainly still looks like it's going to be the mid-hero for OSG, and the worst possible matchups for Puck are still in the pool. TA as well as Outworld Devourer, neither of them have been banned, and it's something that OSG will have to be careful about, unless if they plan to kind of bait Power Rangers into picking one of those 2 and then rotating around their lanes a little bit. But I would say Outworld Devourer right now is a really good pick for PR.
Yeah. Absolutely, and especially since they have the luxury of the 2nd, 4th pick, they can grab the OD, and then they can ban out Razor or whatever other counter they really don't want to run up against him, in case OSG wanted to try and call an audible here. Though, with that Lifestealer looking a little bit grim that they would want to fit a Razor into this lineup, but still could be a good platform if they wanted to grab an OD to try and tango with Puck. So now we're going to see Lifestealer get a little bit of love. He does pair very nicely with that Fairy Dragon. Of course, a great delivery vehicle with that Illusory Orb for a little bit of infest action and let that Lifestealer get right up in your face, right where he wants to be. So I'm kind of curious what Power Rangers want to do with this 4th pick. They do have a lot of options. Would be interesting to see a TA here.
I think TA is nice so far. The only problem TA really faces here is that Bristleback should be kind of good against her over the course of a fight, because he has a lot of damage instances coming out, of course, with the Quill Spray and the passive from his Quells as well, and even, maybe if you can get a couple of hits off. But I would agree, I think TA is an incredibly good pick here. I don't think the picks that OSG have are good enough against TA to not make it a solid pickup here, and then they even have a ban right after if they want to use that. So I would agree with you. I would really love to see a TA right here. I think it serves the purpose of what they need. They need a little bit more of damage, and they need some stronger laning, and TA kind of gives them both. So TA or OD, in my opinion, good picks, and it's going to be the OD. So yeah, I would have agreed with both, and even a Razor here would have actually also been really nice. Great against Bristle, Lifestealer, and good in lane against Puck. Could have even been a third choice that the ESFX Power Rangers could have gone for. So yeah, I think both drafts are looking solid right now, but would kind of have to give a little bit of an edge to Power Rangers by the nature of how they can, once again, similar to Fnatic in the last game, how they can reset fights. They have Mirana ulti, they have 2 disruptions, they have Leap, they have Birds from Visage, and overall just strong lanes as well. Their lanes should really not be underestimated. We haven't talked about it just yet, but Disruption into Arrow is a classic combo that's very hard to play against, especially when you even have a Visage on that potential lane. It's very, very scary.
Yeah. And again, it is going to be Shadow Demon and Outworld Devourer on the same side. We talked about it to quite a degree of detail in the last match, how the defensive banish abilities, or even offensive, but having both the Astral as well as the Disruption together can be just something a little bit difficult to deal with. You get those resets, and it worked pretty well against Doom. Speaking of Doom, Osliki will use him as their 5th ban, and Power Rangers going to ban out the Nyx Assassin. So Osliki going to need another support here. Venomancer possibly could be an option for him. That slow does pair pretty well with the Lifestealer, especially in the laning phase. Another nice aggressive support to pair with the Crystal Maiden. A lot of supports have been banned out here, though.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Osliki would want to go for here. Definitely needs to be some sort of a support, but yeah, many of them are indeed banned out. I think the Nyx Assassin was a very intelligent ban as well, although arguably Osliki would then have 3 melee heroes that would need to all come in close in the fight and might be a little bit hard against the lineup of PR, so still think a ranged support is going to do them better, but which one? I really can't tell you which one they should choose. I guess maybe Bane will be their choice, simply because, like you said, many supports have been taken out. But they're going to go for the Lich instead.
Forget about the Lich.
It's more and more easy to forget about these days, I think.
I like that. That's a good way to put it, because Lich has not been getting a lot of love, and again, one of those heroes that right when 6.79 hit seemed like everyone's radar went off of, oh my gosh, Imba, broken hero, he's stealing our experience. And then teams quickly realized that, yeah, but if you fall behind with Lich, his recovery just isn't that great. I don't know. He's still a very strong support, don't get me wrong, but those aggressive supports seem to be a much more a popular choice, especially like Crystal Maiden and Visage, those heroes that can jungle a little bit better. Lich does not fare so well in the jungle, and that is one thing that holds him back as a pick here, but alas, Osliki going to use him, and it will be a Queen of Pain 5th pick for Power Rangers. An interesting choice, so looking like probably a solo safe lane Queen of Pain, OD in the mid, and, well, it could be the other way around. ZXC is usually their mid player, so it might be Quap mid, actually, which is fascinating because of, well, how well OD fares against Puck, as we talked about.
I think they might be expecting Osliki to put different lanes. They might be expecting a Lich Lifestealer mid, the Puck solo bottom, and a Maiden Bristle off lane. We've seen quite a few teams running the Maiden Bristle as an off lane because Bristle is just so innately tanky, but it really depends on what PR are expecting here. I love their picks. I think it's a very solid draft, and this is a team that doesn't mind playing OD in a position 1 with an early Midas, and I think it's going to be a great choice here as well. The real question is what lanes... Whoa, okay. I'm still in the game.
Me too. Are we like the lone Crusaders here?
Oh, somebody wrote remake. Okay, let's get out.
On a remake. Okay, so we'll hop out of this one. Oops.
And into the other one. Yeah. So
let's see here.
I'm curious to see how OSG put their lanes, because I think if they put the Maiden Bristle off lane and we end up having a PR rolling a 3-hero easy lane, I think they can actually kill that lane, even with an OD on the lane. Visage, Shadow Demon, and OD might be able to kill off the Bristleback if they do their combos right. Else they can definitely kill the Crystal Maiden if they're getting close to that. But regardless, if the OD gets good farm and Queen of Pain gets a draw in the mid, I would give PR an upper hand in terms of the draft here, I think, because once the mid game comes, their heroes are just gonna be a bit more explosive, I feel, than the lineup of OSG.
And I think I would agree with that. OD, just one of those heroes. He tends to get a little bit out of control, as we saw in that first match. Fnatic did find a pretty good degree of success with their OD play in that mid lane. But hopefully we can get this match underway pretty quickly here. Of course, it was a remake. We're back in the lobby. As you guys can see, we've got all 5 in here. I don't have a great overlay for the in-between game stuck in lobby situation, but luckily that was pretty quick. So, gonna get right back into it here.
Yep, just need a ZXC as well as a couple of players to, a couple of observers to load in. Here we go, everyone is in. And I'm expecting PR to put the straightforward lanes. I think they're going to be okay if they do that, so I think it's a solo OD up top and then an aggressive trolling with Shadow Demon, Mirana, and Visage, which I think regardless of what lanes OSG put, they can't win that lane. They don't have the right heroes to deal with that kind of lane. Lich is a very weak support in the start. He's a lane winner, not a fighter in the lane. He wins by the lane just being passive and playing dual lanes. So I'm going to assume that's what OSG will do. And I think PR are reading this right if they put some aggression on their lanes early on, because they have really good laners, to be honest. Don't want to just let the game develop and be passive so that us Leaky get to play the kind of game they're looking for.
Kind of curious how this Lifestealer is going to fare. It's been a little while since we've seen a Lifestealer really get out of control, and what I would sort of think of in my head is the classic Lifestealer. As of late, we've seen him do okay. I think we might have seen him win a game or two the other day, now that I'm thinking about it. But not a lot of Lifestealer love, and I'm always curious to see how they're going to build him, as he has just fallen off in popularity so much.
Well, I think the most obvious choice here is, of course, to go for the armlet. He needs some sort of tank ability to be able to maintain his presence in the fight, but it is really going to be a tall order. Playing a Lifestealer against Shadow Demon, it's an old-school counterpick that we haven't seen for a while, but simply because Demonic Purge goes through Rage. So Lifestealer, very dependent on being able to move in the fight to stay on his target. Demonic Purge disables that, and then even on top of that, 2 of the heroes he can chase down are Mirana and Queen of Pain, who will just leap or blink out respectively. And then if he doesn't go on either of them, his target can get astraled or disrupted. This is, in my opinion, a terrible lineup to play Lifestealer against, and I would be very surprised to see him being put in a dominating position in this game, because I just don't think it fits here against what PR has. And if that is indeed the case, and they're going to easy lane the Lifestealer and put the most farm on the hero that perhaps technically is going to have the least impact as a core here, I think it's going to be a very hard game for them.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and introduce our rosters here. And, oh god, let me sign out of Steam. I made that fatal mistake of showing my screen, and now I'm going to get spammed by people with all sorts of creative names. Okay, glad we're able to take care of that. Sorry about that, folks. On our dire side here, we do have the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with the tri-lane here in the long lane. J4 going to be supporting on the Shadow Demon. Moon going to be farming away on the Mirana. And FNG going to be on the Visage, all down in that long lane bottom. ZXC going to be solo mid on the Outworld Devourer. And that will be Cheshire Cat solo safe lane on the Queen of Pain. And of course, on our Radiant side, OSG, Big Num, going to be in the safe lane here down bottom on the Lifestealer. Looks like he will be joined by Android playing on the Crystal Maiden. That means in the mid, it is going to be Slander playing on the Fairy Dragon Puck. And up top, it is going to be a duo lane Ink Visitor on the Bristleback and stand-in Cot on the Lich. Not sure if that H is just there for good measure or if that affects the pronunciation, but we'll call him Cat.
Yeah, this initial laning position, I think, favors PR a lot. I think they're winning so much from this. The problem for OSG is that the Queen of Pain top, they can't really deny her farm completely. Crystal Maiden and Bristleback, they have Frostbite only. And once that ends, Cheshire Cat can just blink away. So they don't have any killing potential. OD will crush Puck if he plays well. And on the bottom lane, Shadow Demon, Mirana, and Visage together. This is a very good start for PR. I think they did the right thing. They figured out the lanes correctly, and now they're even going to counterward in the enemy jungle. I think they're off to a very, very nice initiation here. Here comes the disruption. I think if he can get on to Android here, but it's going to be a little bit too late. Oh, nice jukes here from Android. Running a little bit, ring around the rosy there at the tower. Yeah, that's tower. That's trees. Yeah, okay. Trees. So he's going to be fine. But once again, like I said, right in the start, Lifestealer, he's going to have such a hard time already getting any sort of farm in this lane.
Yep, he is definitely off to a slow start here. 2-0, and Mirana is sitting 5-3. at present. Now up top, it looks like Cheshire Cat doing pretty well for himself. He is in a 1v2 scenario and has racked up 7 last hits. Bristleback does have 7 as well, but Ink Visitor actually pretty low, so Quap's been doing a great job harassing him back. Cheshire Cat going the Shadow Strike build here to start things off. Pretty common when you're up against a melee hero. He's going to take a bit of return damage as well, but still doing a very good job in this 1v2 lane. So far, it looks like OD off to a good start against Puck. 9-4 versus the 3-0 Fairy Dragon, basically what we would expect. But down bottom, Big Num going to be in some trouble here. A smoke actually going to be used by Power Rangers. In comes the disruption. Moon going to be off the mark with the arrow, actually. Going to use it just a little bit too early. The Rage comes out. They might still be able to grab this kill, perhaps. They're going to continue to chip away at him. Not going to have enough damage. Big Num will survive. Going to be forced to use that salve straight away. If that Sacred Arrow had connected, though, I think that would have been a first blood for Power Rangers.
Very easy one as well if it would have connected, but I'm a little bit unfamiliar with this. I remember there being some sort of an issue with disruption into Rage that you could actually get Rage off always before you got hit by stuns that were kind of on top of you. I'm not sure if that's how it still works, but if it is, then if Lifesteal is just mashing his Rage button, then he probably shouldn't be able to get arrow connected. But I'm not sure if it still works like that. He might get arrowed now, and if he gets caught by that combo, he is most definitely dead. There's no escape for him, and I like what OSG have done by just leaving Lifestealer alone down here. The Crystal Maiden won't be able to help him. Try to do something somewhere else. They don't have heroes to deal with this tri-lane. Lifestealer is going to have to sacrifice himself a bit, and, well, hopefully the other heroes can give him some sort of a comeback later on.
Yeah. It's sort of an odd combo when you have the disruption with the arrow. It's a similar setup, but a little bit more difficult than something like the Bane with a Nightmare or anyone with a True Stun, because you're right, you do have to time it so the arrow kind of comes in on top when they pop out of the disruption. Not the hardest thing to do, but certainly not the easiest either. I think in most situations, Lifestealer should be able to Rage if he's spamming that button, as you mentioned, and avoid the Sacred Arrow connection, but there's probably, if you do it absolutely perfectly, he'll still get stunned a time or two. We are going to see Android in the jungle here get initiated on, and that's going to be a really easy first blood. Now Slander going to come over, and he needs to be a little careful as well. It is a 2v1, and these supports can do quite a bit of damage here at the early levels, but J4, I don't know if you were watching, but he was just standing at the high ground here, watching that Crystal Maiden try and do this camp, waiting for the Visage to wander over, and as soon as they had that opening, they just went straight down. CM really didn't see it coming, so great positioning from J4, and they're rewarded with a little bit of bonus gold. It did actually go the way of the Visage for that 400 bounty.
And they can easily afford to make this rotation, because Mirana versus Lifestealer is a fine lane for her. She got the laning she needed in the beginning, so she got a good head start on farm, now up to 25 CS, can buy phase boots, and simply just right-click the Lifestealer, force him out of the lane, and take the free farm. There's not too much to do for Lifestealer at this point. He's very crippled, has 7 CS at 5 minutes, compared to Mirana's 26. And because of that, they've freed up their bottom lane. Very effective, very textbook kind of play here from PR, and how they managed to take a win on their tri-lane and then move. Yep. Don't stay around for nothing, and they definitely aren't. Only Shadow Demon now, hanging around a little, might try for a kill now.
Yeah, still looking to put some pressure on, and with that, OD still commandeering the mid lane in quite a convincing fashion. 27-9 versus the 11-1 Puck at the moment. Oh, missed the kill up top, but down bottom, we're going to see if they can line this up. Again, the arrow going to be off the mark. That time it's actually going to miss, though Big Num did get the Rage off. Not sure if it would have connected anyhow. Now, up top, Cheshire Cat is going to be able to secure a kill onto the Lich. Compliments of the Visage rotating that way. Almost dying in return, but will be able to make it out as Bristleback going to have to head to the well also, it seems. So now really this top lane going the way of PR. Even before Visage rotated, I was going to say almost a victory for Queen of Pain based on how well she's been doing in a 1v2 scenario, but now that she's been able to pick up a kill on the support, I would say PR have really effectively won all 3 of their lanes here.
They've won them really hard, even. Mid lane might get a comeback here onto ZXC, but no, Shadow Demon comes in actually 1 for 1. They do get the CM, but it's going to cost them now. Cheshire Cat tries to get onto Slander here. Actually might get him here.
Yep,
Phase shift is on cooldown. Weird disruption, though, just saved him, actually.
Yeah, now he's going to come
back. He was bottling,
back.
Meanwhile.
Yeah, that was a weird disruption. I don't know. Maybe, oh, Illusion's almost taking him down. Phase shift going to come. One more tick of the dagger. Not going to be enough. 14 health, and he is going to use the salve. Wow. Yeah, sort of a strange disruption right there. Definitely bought Puck some valuable time. So, OSG do get a little pick-me-up in the mid, but still a pretty convincing gold lead for Power Rangers, up to 3,000 here at only the 6.5 minute mark. And oh, up top, double damage rune on Cheshire Cat. That's going to be a dead Ink Visitor, I think, no doubt about it. trying to get to the front side of the Bristleback. Cheshire Cat may have to blink forward here. Actually needs to be a little careful. Lich now going to come in, and wow, Bristleback is going to survive, but just barely. Oh god, he's going to get taken down. My apologies. He still had the dagger on. Lich going to whiff the deny right there.
And meanwhile, Mirana got initiated on bottom, but was able to use the Moonlight Shadow and simply run out. There were no sentries available for the Crystal Maiden, and obviously Lifestealer doesn't have any. Actually, they did have a sentry, but still didn't manage to get the kill. They did try, but Mirana a little bit too nimble there with her face boots as well as the leap, so did get out. And I just have to say, this kind of lead that PR has got right now with their draft is exactly what you're looking for with this kind of lineup. They're in a very dominant position. The Lifestealer, if you just look at the farm values, really goes to show how big an advantage they've been taking in these lanes. Puck has a third of the farm of OD. Lifestealer has a fourth of the farm of Mirana, or a third as well, roughly. And the Bristleback has the same amount of farm as the Queen of Pain, and that was a 2v1 lane with a Crystal Maiden in the beginning and later on a Lich.
That farm too.
So this is completely going out of control. PR have taken the biggest lead I think we've seen in a while at 7 minutes. This is really significant, and they're even going to convert it into a Hand of Midas on OD and maybe also on Mirana. And if that's going to continue, then I don't know what OSG's plan is going to be. That Mirana's even going to maybe get a solo killer on Lifestealer. Arrow is going to be off the mark, and Magic Stick will keep him alive. But that was pretty close, and Moon could just keep him out of the lane. And here comes Shadow Demon.
Yep.
Easy kill.
Going to be able to grab it. And up top, looks like we could see a little bit of action come here as well. FNG going to take a bit of damage on that Visage. Ink Visitor starting to stack up that sticky goo. And Visage recognizing he's got nowhere to go, not going to be able to make it out, and will just stand his ground. And that's going to be an easy kill going the way of our Radiant side, but all the while in the mid, Crystal Maiden going to get picked off again. It's another one of these games where I'm looking at the mini-map and kills are just happening at the same time. Can't catch all of them. And, well, Crystal Maiden going to take a spill here in the mid. Cheshire Cat going to further his farm. Looking good for the Queen of Pain here to start things off.
Still worth it to lose the CM to get the OD, in my opinion. He did get ganked by CM together with the Puck there. That's kind of what started the fight in the mid. But it's a good play from OSG now to start getting some kills all over, and they're gonna have to keep doing this. If they don't make kills all the time, they're losing every minute. They're just getting out farmed. Nice glyph as well as TP bottom will give Kat the deny here. Has been playing very well so far on that Lich, but more and more control going the way of PR. Even though that tower does get denied, it's still a tower gone, and more momentum toward that bottom lane if Moon starts to push it out. Because to be fair, they don't really have much way of dealing with the split push that PR can play as well. We haven't talked about that so much, but Queen of Pain and Mirana are not really that countered by OSG's lineup. They can afford to play really aggressively on the lanes and probably still get away with it.
Yeah, no, they did just use the Moonlight Shadow, but it was on top of a ward. It was this ward right here, and there's also a sentry down in the lane right there. So Lifestealer, very wise, just going to pour it out straight away. Actually burned the rage as soon as he saw it and just poured it out to safety. A very smart call, and unfortunately for PR, just a little bit of bad RNG using that Moonlight Shadow right on top of the ward. So, of course, will reveal their strategy, and Lifestealer are going to get a pass that time.
He needs that so badly as well.
He needed that pass.
Yeah. He's got 18 CS at 10 minutes on the easy lane. That's a terrible kind of start for a Lifestealer. And now in mid.
Dream Coil going to come out, but OD now going to be able to burn the Sanity's Eclipse. Puck will phase shift it, but a double kill going to come out for the Outworld Devourer. And the Queen of Pain did start off with a beautiful Sonic Wave. And up in the top lane, Bristleback was able to dive on the Visage and set up a kill. Disruption comes out. Ink Visitor going to port, and he's going to make it, but it's going to be a close one. J4 almost with enough damage to finish him off. Still a nice heads-up play from the Bristleback. Ink Visitor there to port out right away following that disruption, and did make it out back to safety. No hesitation, and that keeps him alive.
Yep, so still all is well for PR, of course. Nice for them to get another kill for OSG, that is, on that Bristleback, but in the grander scheme of things, it's getting worse and worse for them. PR now with a Hand of Midas on the OD. Mirana not going to go greedy, it looks like. She will be getting a Yasha and just try to be very strong early on. Has already got the Blade of Alacrity, and I can agree with this choice. Don't get too many Midases necessarily. I think teams are starting to balance it out a little bit more with not buying too many Midases at once, but kind of prioritizing one or two heroes and not more than that. And Mirana, in her current position with the amount of farm she's got and the amount of dominance she can have in the mid game, I really like the choice of not going for it here. And now actually even going to go on Big Num. Nice infest here. We'll keep him alive. Well played.
Yeah, that was well played. Look at that. Papa Whoa, he's like, whoa, look at that. I thought that was going to be a free kill as well, but very fast reactions once again from the lifestealer and a nice rotation from the puck to come down and not only keep the lifestealer alive, but also turn that into a kill.
Yeah,
turn it into
very,
a kill. Pardon
very
me.
nicely done. They need more of these beautiful plays here with the amount of farm that's going PR's way. It's definitely the way to go. Keep making action. I would love to see OSG trying to apply the smoke that they've got on the Crystal Maiden somehow and just keep trying to find some pickoffs and maybe convert it into objectives, because the problem that they're facing as well is they've barely scratched a tower.
Yeah.
The mid-tier 1 tower for PR lost 48 health, the top tower lost 56. Hooray! Haven't really been able to accomplish too much on the lanes, bar getting a bit of farm on the bristleback, so
Yeah.
kills into towers really needs to happen right now. The laning advantage PR is getting is just way too big right now. Arrow is going to connect on puck. He didn't see it coming at all. Moon's going to down the double Starstorm here as well. We'll need one more attack to get Slander. That's going to be that kill. Very nicely done by Moon. And
had no place here.
Nice aggressive ward in the jungle here. Going to start to make that possible. And I was just going to say before that, Lifestealer really needs to find some room to farm, and he's going to find a little bit down here in the bottom as he makes a small recovery. His CS, though, very, very low still, at only 29 compared to the 71 of Marana, who's still holding steady up in this lane. Up top here, Cheshire Cat going to poke a bit far forward, will take some harassment, and just going to have to blink back to safety, and will survive. His teammates do join her. It's an interesting play from Cheshire Cat. But, well, he does have a regen rune in the bottle, so not too bad. Bristleback going to put that early farm to good use, and is going to grab himself a Vanguard. Ink Visitor doesn't know that there's support nearby. He does turn his back as he gets Sonic waved, but doesn't matter. Still just way too much damage. Chain Frost comes out. Lich trying to set this up, but Cheshire Cat going to be able to blink back to safety. One last nuke going to come, and that'll be the end of the Lich. Going to be a 2-for-0 up in the top lane. Ink Visitor just getting way too aggressive. Had absolutely no clue that there was support nearby.
another 2 kills going the way of PR. I think it's about time for them to try to take some more objectives here. They've managed to take the bottom tier 1 tower, but I think they are in a position now where they can start getting some collateral. Roshan is obviously an option since they're dire and do have a point in Arcane Orb now on the OD. Should be a fairly easy kill for them. And maybe even look towards poking a little bit more in this mid tower that's only lost 30% health or something along those lines. Not even. Would be nice for them to start doing some damage there. While Mirana, I mean, she doesn't need to move from this lane. That's the crazy thing about it. By taking that tier 1 tower and having the aggressive ward in the enemy jungle that they do here, Moon can feel very safe playing what would generally be considered over-aggressive at 14 minutes on the Radiant side of the map, but there's just nothing intimidating him right here, so why not keep the Nyx in check, stay on the Lifestealer down there, and with the Yasha now even going to be even faster with the Phase Boost. If he uses Phase Boost Leap and has the Yasha, he almost has like 470 move speed at this point.
Wow.
Nobody's going to keep up with him.
Yeah. His farm just continuing to get out of control here. Now just going to clear out a stack in the jungle and continue to rotate down to the bottom lane. Now, unfortunately for Moon, though, that ward they had in the middle of the jungle did despawn, and now that's going to limit some of his potential of laning here as the lane is pushed up pretty far. I don't know why I said that with such a weird cadence, but Big Num going to have a little bit of more room here as Mirana doesn't have a ward, keeping her safe, farming very far in enemy territory. So we'll probably see her. Well, we'll see where she goes after she clears out the neutrals here. Everyone on PR.
Can solo the Lifestealer if Moon lands a good arrow here. I think he can get the solo kill because of the DD.
Oh, yeah.
Might try to pick it, but no. Big Num is actually going to go back right here and just let Moon farm the lane. He's worried since the supports are missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he will just stay back. Let Moon get the lane for a bit. Gonna get his farm here, and meanwhile up top, Cheshire Cat and Exquisitor. He's really exquisite. They're gonna exchange a couple of blows here, but nothing too big is gonna come out of it. And just gotta say for OSG, still in a situation where they need to get something done. The amount of farm coming PR's way is absolutely ridiculous. They have 2 heroes with almost 100 CS at 15 minutes. It's not that unusual that your position 1 hero has that, but in this game it's 2 heroes that weren't even in the easy lane. Mirana in the off lane has 90, and obviously wasn't a one-on-one still, but still a very good amount of CS at 16 minutes. OD in the mid, 92 and 25 on the Outworld Devourer. So certainly going to be absolutely crazy in this mid game.
Gonna heat up. You're gonna come out on the Bristleback to start things off. The Sonic Wave comes, but it's actually not gonna be that well timed as the Disruption was used on a Lich to start things off. Freezing Field gonna get burned, but Queen of Pain will be able to finish off The Bristleback Shadow Demon falls to the freezing field, but Quap going to be able to take out that Crystal Maiden. Now Lich in big trouble. This should be a pretty easy kill as OD makes his way up, and that's going to be a 3-for-1 triple kill coming out for Cheshire Cat on that Queen of Pain. Now going to further his dominant streak here, 7-0-3. Cheshire Cat really playing a strong Quap here, and PR will be able to translate this to a tower kill. Moon with that double damage rune on, going to be able to take this tower down very, very quickly. Now 14-6, OSG really in big trouble here. 7,500 gold lead, experience graph pretty comparable around the 6,000 mark. Obviously going to get even worse as these towers go down. Looking grim here, Synderin.
And they are starting to get the collateral that I was talking about a little bit earlier. They should be in a position now where they start getting towers or Roshan, and the tower has fallen. Roshan has just been pinged by the Queen of Pain. Visage is going to pick up a Hand of Midas. It's, I would say this game is already reaching a point where it's almost impossible to come back for OSG, because they don't even have better late game, in my opinion. Lifestealer is generally a strong late gamer, but he doesn't have anything, and he isn't even good against the PR lineup. Neither is Bristleback, for that matter.
Yeah.
Very elusive heroes that can easily get out of these kind of fights that Lifestealer and Bristleback would love to fight in, and the only way they can set them up is with a Dream Coil, but that's not going to be enough when the other team just has Blink and Leap and 2 defensive abilities to in the Astral Imprisonment as well as Disruption to just keep the heroes safe. I'd just say, flat out, the way the laning phase played out and the way the heroes have been put for both sides, PR just with a very intelligent draft and just completely outplaying OSG in every aspect of the game right now.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. Now Big Num going to be in a little bit of trouble here perhaps. They will scout him out. Rage going to be used straight away, and he's just going to port back to safety. No other option. Definitely the smart play there. Up top, Queen of Pain taking heavy damage, and she's going to fall. We saw that little back and forth before the rotation from Puck came in, and Cheshire Cat really playing very greedy right there. He'd been harassed down, and Dream Coil going to be enough to secure the kill. That's going to be a nice bounty going the way of Bristleback, just about 950 gold. So there you go. He's going to work on the Blade Mail now, as those first 2 core items going to be very close to finishing that up.
Good choice, because a lot of PR's damage will kind of inevitably hit the Bristleback. Even if they don't target him, there's a lot of spells that PR has that will be hitting multiple targets. Starstorm, all Queen of Pain's kit, the ultimate from OD, so a well-timed Blade Mail can actually do quite a significant amount of damage here. I don't know whether it will be enough to win them a team fight though, because of the advantage of PR, but if they weren't in such a commanding lead, I think the Bristleback Blade Mail is actually a very good choice here. Unfortunately, yeah, like I said, I'm waiting for PR to go to Roshan. They should be able to take it fairly quickly here in mid. Puck is going to try something here with a Blink Dagger, not going to be successful. No Dream Coil available against Mirana. And PR will just, meanwhile, just continue farming. They are gaining. It's kind of crazy. You saw the amount of gold OSG just got by killing Queen of Pain. That was about 1,000. It's already back to 0 again. The gain they got from Queen of Pain. That was about a minute ago.
Yeah.
Or a minute and a half. So
Double Midas will do that.
That means that PR is effectively gaining 750 GPM more than OSG is on this map right now.
Yeah, and they're trying to stay aggressive on this Lifestealer. He's in the jungle. They scout him out. We saw the Shadow Demon get fogged there as he tried to cast that Disruption. I don't know if they could have set up a kill right there as support was nearby, but still, I like that they're in the Radiant jungle right now, limiting what this Lifestealer can do. Really just adding insult to injury at this point is Big Num finally completing that armlet here at the 20-minute mark. That's basically his only item besides the power treads. Didn't even get the phase boots. Felt obligated to grab himself some treads for that little bit of additional survivability, which is probably the right call here, but just another piece of evidence going to show the domination that PR has had really from the get-go in the laning phase, and that's continuing to carry on here into the mid-game. 14-7 as we pass that 20-minute mark, and it looks like PR may be thinking about some Roshan action here. I agree with you. I think it's almost time that they might want to poke into that pit and grab themselves an Aegis. But I guess they don't agree. They'll just continue farming on here. ZXC just racking up that farm in the jungle. He's got a 4-staff, now has the ultimate orb, so going to be going for that sheep stick, I think, undoubtedly. And maybe that's what PR are waiting for before they get too aggressive. Slander with the surprise inside. Maybe it's OSG that want to be the aggressors here.
They have to. It's the right call. I even think it's too late now. I think they've waited too long with trying something like this. And it might seem like kind of a desperation move, but I think they have to be desperate. I don't think doing nothing is going to work for them at all, and I would have loved to see them try to do this 5 or even 10 minutes ago. Just try to be more mobile and try to find kills on the map, because this is not favoring them at all in the long run, and I like that they're brute forcing this tower with Inquisitor in front. They might be able to take this tower, But maybe counter initiation is going to come. Nice initiation from Puck here.
Puck gonna hop in here. The Moonlight Shadow comes, and J4 actually gonna be able to survive. He'll get off pretty much scot-free. Crystal Maiden gonna fall as now the rest of PR are gonna come in. The tower's still alive. Puck gonna get taken out in the back. And now the Lich is gonna be able to fall as well. This is just a massacre in favor of Power Rangers. A 5-0 clean sweep, and they defend the tower. It will get denied, perhaps. Nope, tower is going to fall, but there it is. OSG going to tap out, and I think after that pretty convincing team fight, that is a well-timed GG.
Yeah, they got in on the Shadow Demon and tried to burst him down, but actually didn't manage. He did get out by the skin of his teeth there, and I think OSG are just realizing how far behind they are against a lineup with double Midas that was about to take Roshan after a 5-0 team fight. There was just no coming back in that. This game was completely over, and I think draft-wise, PR got the better of it. They put the smarter lanes, they had the better plays, and then everything just snowballed out of control really quickly. And important for PR to get some momentum and get some more confidence, because like we said before the game, they're still in the race for the top 4, and I think PR would love to be at the Starladder. I think it's an event that's eluded them so far. They might have been there once, but they've kind of been close and always been this team in the CIS scene that's not top-notch like Na'Vi, but kind of close up there together with, well, let's say, who do we say are the strongest teams in CIS? It's rox.kis, Empire, Na'Vi, and Virtus Pro, I suppose, are like the 4 bigger dogs over there.
Yeah.
And PR kind of always been a little bit in the shadow of those 4 teams, but would love to make that breakthrough where they get in over the others, or at least some of them, and try to get a show at Starladder. I could be wrong, they might have been there once, but it's still, they've always, like,
They're
been
contenders.
close, but never really had enough.
Yeah, this is back-to-back seasons now. We're in the round robin. Power Rangers have upset Alliance. They did it in Season 7, and they did it just a couple days ago here in Season 8. So a team to look out for, no doubt. A quick second game. That'll get us back on schedule here, guys. And we do have Game 3 coming up next. That, of course, will be the Red Pandas, Team QPad versus Flipside RU as our third of 4 matches coming up today on Beyond the Summit. Again, I'm Zyori. With me is Syndrin. Thank you for joining us. Plenty more Dota coming your way on this beautiful Saturday afternoon.